Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next The Promised Neverland manga review. This one's going to be for chapter 166, which is called Going Back Home. So I think the main thing this chapter accomplished was, of course, starting off this kind of action set piece here that's basically setting up in a way the finale of the series. I'd be very surprised if we really switch locations again from here before we get to, like, I suppose, any sort of an epilogue, very end of series type thing. I think this is where this incident here, the direct result of this is going to be the ending of the series. I think they've been building to this the entire time in terms of just they escaped from here, now they have to come back here. Because I think one of the facts to keep in mind in all of this is that we learned earlier on in the series that one of the sort of ways to get back into the human world is actually in Gracefield House. It was this sort of surprising reveal that came out that, wait, like they could have got back just by sort of staying where they were and sort of figuring out the secret there. So that's something to sort of always keep in the back of your head as everything's going on here, is that there's sort of a reason they want to take over Gracefield House here, as is the sort of cliffhanger ending to everything here. But, I don't think this is the most impactful chapter we've ever had. It's solid action, but it's a very quick chapter. It's very to the point. And in that sense, like, it doesn't do anything particularly bad. It's just that we had another week off last week that was sort of unexpected. And we come back and it's a very just, like, read it and you're done chapter. There's not a lot to really discuss with it. So let's just go through it here. So basically, we just get the reaction from the demons and Peter Rattray of just like, they're here. It's this blackout. They're trying to get the auxiliary power back on. It's going to take 20 seconds. Then we cut, as we start the chapter properly, I suppose, back to a flashback 3 days ago and the planning of this assault. They have the blueprints, basically, of Gracefield House. And so they're figuring out, like, okay, they must be holding everyone in the supply storage in B2. That's obviously where it's going to have to be. So they go in knowing basically that they're not going to have to figure out a lot on the fly. Logically, they can figure out where a large amount of kids are going to be held and so on. So they just kind of get across the idea of, okay, what is the security force that they're going to go up against? Emma says 30 to 40 demon employees, but who knows now at this point how much it's going to be. Norman, I think he here explains, about half of the demons are guards to prevent theft. In addition, there are over 100 human employees, so that's interesting. And then there's also the Rattray clan, as well as the 2,000 Imperial soldiers. So this is what they're going up against here. And so, what is the plan? What's the trick to this? Because there's no way they're really just planning with their squad to just go in there, get done what they need to do, and hope to be able to combat the amount of demons that they're going up against here, over 2,000. So there's a bigger part to the plan here. So Emma says that they're going to split into 3 groups and infiltrate. So that's basically what we get here. After we're in, the first thing we need to do is rescue the hostages and ensure their safety. We'll quickly head to number 2 storage on B2. And this is when we cut back to the present and Peter Rattray just kind of planning for their arrival, what he's going to do. So he knows where they're heading. So like he has figured out that, look, they'll figure out where the kids are. So he knows to basically have security watching over all of the kids in this storage area. So this is where the battle of wits is coming into play of, like, I've countered your plan. No, wait, I've countered your plan. And we're going to see who gets the better of who here. So the power is still off at this point, as we see Jillian and Zach, I believe it is, drop from the ceiling where all the kids are being held. And they fire off some flash bombs and do manage to take out a bunch of the demons there. So very quickly they've managed to sort of get all the kids running around the place. Storage number 2 has sort of been immediately taken over, and there's kind of chaos in communication from everywhere. They're all kind of questioning, like, are they really escapees? Like, they're so skilled, basically. So Peter Rattray's a little taken aback by just how skilled they all are. And this is when they kind of get the information here that Nat and some of the others were taken, obviously, to be kind of killed immediately. This was, I think, from the last chapter what we got the setup for, that Isabella was going to have to sort of prove herself by immediately basically killing a few of the others to get ready to be sort of shipped out. So just as they're about to be sort of killed here, and it looks like be killed by gas, because there's sort of a shower head there, and it looks like they're about to pump gas into the room. Isabella speaks into them and says, "Don't worry, everyone, it'll end quickly." But suddenly there's gunshots at the door, and this is where Emma, Ray, and Norman break in, and very quickly manage to break everyone out, but not before we do actually get to see the trio get to look up at the window, the viewing window, and see Isabella for the first time in who knows how many chapters. And it goes from a look of, shock to immediately determination that they know now kind of, someone who's in charge here. So I really like that kind of, panel. It's basically the same panel, but as you turn page, the reaction changes, that they know they've gotten the better of her before, they're going to do it again type thing. So we'll see how it plays out. I think everyone, of course, is expecting some sort of a secret twist with Isabella, that she'll do something that sort of surprises us. But anyway, all of the kids who've been captured are being kind of led somewhere, and Peter Rattray is very confident all about this, and actually sort of basically tells all the soldiers to not be so worried. There's no need. We've already blocked all the exits. That's what the 2,000 soldiers outside are for. And they're besides, they weren't able to infiltrate so easily. We allowed them to. So he's getting across the idea that he's purposefully let them come in here so that he can trap them inside. And he thinks he has them just with that sort of plan. He thinks he's completely outdone them here by basically letting them in easily enough, but no, he's not going to let them out very easily. So this seems to be him having the advantage. How are they going to run away? And he just says they won't be able to escape. But we actually see inside where they've run off to, all of the kids now sort of safe. They actually lock the door behind them, so they're locking themselves into an area. And it said here, they've barricaded themselves inside the storage room. And everyone's like, what? And Emma just says, blocked our retreat. We knew they would. We never intended to escape. We are taking over Gracefield Farm. So it's an interesting plan here of obviously, once again, Emma and Peter Rattray, they've both sort of outthought each other here. Of he's probably going to let us attack, so he's going to let us in, but we're going to find difficulty getting out. So what if the plan is to basically just kind of use the fact that we're going to have sort of a fortified position on the inside and sort of defend from there. This actually, I suppose tactically is a decent plan for them, in that it goes from them having to sort of break out past 2,000 guards to instead 2,000 guards are going to have to sort of find their way into a pretty heavily fortified, storage location in the middle of Gracefield Farm. So this definitely plays into the advantage of our heroes here. So it's going to be interesting to see just exactly what the full plan is. But again, that's where I do bring up the idea of that we know that one of the pathways into the human world is somewhere here. So it makes sense why control of Gracefield House is important, not just for saving all of the kids, but for other reasons as well. So that's what we're still looking towards. Again, they've been teasing for who knows how many chapters at this point. We still don't know what the reward that has been offered by Emma to the One for the new promise, and we don't know what the conditions are for that promise activating and the old one ending, all that sort of stuff. So there's still a lot to go through. I think we're going to see Isabella have some sort of an arc for sure. So she's going to have to interact with, I suppose, Ray especially, but also, I suppose, Emma. And then we'll see, how Peter Rattray plays out. I assume we'll get, Peter Rattray and Emma kind of going, maybe fighting. Well, I think we'll get some dialogue stuff with him. I think we need to learn more about the Rattray clan overall. And then we'll see if they do anything else different. And that, beyond that, it is just the promise activating, I suppose, us seeing the human world and what it's like and how things are going to change with the new promise. But I suppose all the other demon stuff of like Sanju and Mujika and what's going on with them, I get the feeling that will probably be resolved in epilogue. I doubt that's going to be focused on as like a part of the story. I think once we deal with here, we'll probably go into epilogue to cover the ending of the series. But you know, I still think there's a decent amount of chapters left. I don't think we're like in the immediate countdown to like there's maybe like 5-10 chapters left. I still think there's probably 20-25 chapters left, if not more than that. So, you know, I don't think we're looking at the ending happening particularly soon. But yeah, that's the chapter. Like I said, it felt fairly short, just because it was a lot of, you know, action, just making it clear this is what happens. It covered exactly what it needed to without being particularly insightful into anything, but just a tease of, you know, everyone trying to out tactic each other. Isabella has seen the kids, they have seen her, so that adds a bit of tension to what's going on here. And then yeah, it's pretty much just, I suppose, finding it next week. Okay, I sort of get the idea with this plan, but what is the actual plan? Are you just going to use this as a sort of defensive position and go from there, or is there more to the plan than that? That's what I want to know. So yeah, like, I wouldn't say this is one of the best chapters, but it's also, there's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's just very solid, I'd say. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on this chapter. But that has been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.